Listen, I'm a big Timmy Gatling fan. Big Timmy Gatling fan. I'm a fan of his music, his writing, and that masterpiece he did with that guy for his album is just,
Yeah.
Like I said, history. You can't look. You can do whatever you want, try to change this, change that. You can't change that Timmy's on that first album. Think about when you realize that Teddy Riley at one point produced like 60% of the hip hop in the R&B, and then you'd be like, he had no money, or you think, and you see Aaron with the rings on and the fly suits, and you're like, he had no money. But then when you look at that Guy album and you see the Guy logo, because I was heavy into imagery and logos and things like that, and I realized that their logo was a Griffin. Gene Griffin. I said, how gangster is that? How gangster is that? That this man they was already signed. He came in and tried to have them sign new paperwork. Basically giving him executive control over everything, and Timmy didn't sign it. Smart guy like Ice Cube didn't sign it. Yeah, and they had to go through him to get all the releases, and he got paid. He was the only one that got paid off that album.
Gene and I had a verbal, old-fashioned cussing out each other. I mean, it was old-fashioned. I mean, you, what are you trying to do? This is my group. No, it ain't. I'm taking the group. Wow. And I'm taking it and consider yourself not part of the group anymore. I was like, you. I said, you could have a group. God gave me that when he gave me, it was stuff that shouldn't have been said, that was said and whatever. And that was it. Now I'm out the group. I cried like a baby though. Once I got off that phone, I cried like a newborn baby because I was hurt.
Wow.
For so many different emotions. But once I finished crying, I spent 2 or 3 days crying. It was like, okay, it's time to get back on the horse and see what I can do. And I went right back because Gene and Teddy couldn't even get a record deal when we first started out. Me and a friend of mine named David Peasley, a white guy who wrote for Dance Music Magazine at the time, he had a relationship with Tommy Boy. And what started the bidding was that we went to Tommy Boy and we got the deal. And then I called Gene and Teddy back and said, we got a deal. Y'all couldn't get one, but I got one. It was just like that. But once we got that deal, Teddy and I had wrote a song for Orange Juice Jones, so we was connected to Russell as well, Russell Simmons. And Russell told Andre, go get them boys. So that's when Andre known for outbidding everybody back then, because he had the pocketbook. And even though we could verbally committed to Tommy Boy, when Andre came along with that money, we had to say, okay, we're going with Uptown.
Wow.
So Gene and Teddy didn't even get the first record deal. Period. Teddy will tell you that if you confront him.
So you, after having this verbal with Gene and he says you're out the group, could he do that though? How could he kick you out the group? Well, did he have any power?
He couldn't really kick me out because I signed no contract, but by then he had Teddy and Aaron in the headlock. I didn't know whether they signed or whatever, but it was obvious that they signed. So that's what made me like, okay, I'm fighting a losing battle over here. If he got Aaron and Teddy, because one thing I knew, and it wasn't wisdom or whatever, it was just God giving me insight. I knew he wouldn't even pull that stunt if Teddy and Aaron would have said, nah, we're not doing that. Mm-hmm. But obviously, they agreed to it. That's facts. They agreed. We with you, Gene. Mm-hmm. I don't hold no animosity, but I'm giving you truth. Yeah. That's all. I'm telling the truth. And sometimes the truth can be harsh, but that's what they did. And basically left me, even though, I've forgiven them, but at that particular time, whatever, they left me for dead. They didn't know. They didn't care. Wow. It was like they would focus on them. And I give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, we were young. But at the same time, loyalty and friendship, a character trait to me is a character trait.
Yeah.
We were babies together, so how could you do that?
It seems as if you were much stronger in character and determination. Even back then, you seem to have, because you said when you had Aaron, you just quit your job. You went in and said, we've got this, and getting the end of the deal. It seems as if you had a different type of vision and that you weren't limited by circumstances at that point?
I don't give myself that much credit. There's certain times, anybody, if God anoints you and give you a vision and he protects you, we all do things sometime and have faith in something, and things are going to happen in a certain way for that particular moment. I don't know if I would do that now. I don't know. I could. It depends on the vision. It wasn't that I wanted it bad. I did want it bad, but at the same time, I knew it was something that was beyond me. To have that type of faith, to quit your job, to have that type of faith, to be criticized and whatever, you never gonna be nothing. You gonna do this, you gonna do that. To have that type of faith, even when I got put out of a group I love, you gotta remember, they had already Universal, MCA, Uptown Records. They had life-size posters of us. They already had posters of us. My face was on every CD and every album cover you could find. So it was hard for me even right after, in the aftermath, because everywhere I went, people expect even concerts, people expecting to see me, asking me questions. Why you ain't on stage? Yeah. You sick? You this? What's going on? Wow. So it was hard. How do you explain that? And everybody that in New York, where we come from, everybody know that Timmy and Teddy was together ever since they was little. So how could your best friend do that? But right after their second album, The Future, then they got rid of James. So
yeah, what was did they spin a story? Because as I said, what was the story that they, because they must have had to answer questions when the video of Groovy came out. What was the story?
Timmy left the group. It was so many stories I can't even say, but one thing I do know, Timmy was disgruntled. Timmy left the group. Timmy got married. Timmy did this. Timmy did that. Timmy didn't get along with Aaron. Timmy didn't get along with Teddy. It was like, you don't have to try to, you already kicked me out, now you want to bury me?
Yeah.
So it was that's how I felt.
Yeah. How did you, full-time job, I'm a therapist, and I can't imagine the world, what that's like, just you're creating something, your friends leaving you, the videos coming out, you've got the biggest track in the country, and you're not part of it. Did you then think it's over, or did you think I need to pack up and move forward? Because that was another question someone asked, is what did you do next? In the midst of all this,
I did think everything that I worked for and everything God gave to me is over. I did think that in the beginning. Yeah. But in minutes went by, and I said, okay, God, if you could give that to me, you could bless me with other things, because this wasn't my doing. I cried like a baby. I prayed, and then got back to work. And I called up the same people who we verbally committed to, and I was wondering, I'm thinking to myself, Monica Lynch and Tom Silverman ain't gonna even want to hear my voice. And my girl at the time said, call him. Just call him. You wouldn't know if you don't call him. And they had already heard the story that Gene Griffin, because everybody knew who Gene Griffin was and what type of person he was. So they knew it wasn't me. So Tom Silverman and Monica Lynch paid for my airfare, gave me money up front, said come down and do some demos for us. And the first demo I did was a song called After 12 that went on the Lean On Me movie for the Force MDs. And then they gave me $200,000 for my solo record.
Wow.
And then I met my partner out, Wookie Stewart, and we started to produce. And we clicked just like me and Aaron clicked. And his vocals was damn near better because he was a vocal connoisseur. And I wrote 2 songs for him and his solo record, So Cold and Headache, and got him a Sony deal. And then and Cassandra Mills and Lowell Salas brought us out to LA. And that's when we started working on everyone else.
So at this point, did the vision of being in a group, did you say, let's park it, I'm going to go solo, or let me do production? What was going through your mind, and what path?
We were making so much money now producing that I had to do a solo record because even though my mind was in many different places. Because right when I was doing my solo album, I was still producing Belpit DeVoe and Ralph Tresvant and Stephanie Mills and Christopher Williams.
Wow.
So I didn't really give my solo record the attention it needed, but I didn't want to mess up another commitment with Tommy Boy.
Okay.
Because they had done gave me the money, so it was like, I love being in a group. God gave me that vision.
Yeah.
But I did it because the only reason I did that, I would have never done it. I mean, I would have done solo things within the group because I wanted us to be like the Black Beatles. I really did. I prayed for that for a long time. I wanted us to be like the Black Beatles. But I did it because I had to, because I was ousted from the group and I didn't want to be in no more groups.
Okay. Okay.
For a long time.
Yeah. When Guy came out and they were performing and stuff, and they went back into their second album. Were you with one eye looking at what was happening with them? Did you guys make up, or was it just like, I'm in LA, you guys are there and with being cross paths?
Never ever. Even still to today, like Teddy and I have met 2 or 3 times. Matter of fact, I just talked like last week and the week before, you know, me and Teddy just basically talked on the phone for a short period and through, you know, social media and his email and my email. You know, Aaron and I, we started talking every single morning for a long time, like a month ago. And everybody, Christopher Wood, everybody started talking, but we never, like Aaron, what's different about it is, I think I lost you.
Yeah, now I'm here.
Oh, okay, good. I think it never was officially an apology. It never was officially, yo, what we did wasn't right. You know, it was bullshit, and it shouldn't have happened that way. It was always, they passed the buck. Oh, it wasn't me, it was him. It wasn't him, man. And Teddy come from this standpoint, you know, that's done, that's over with, you know, we different people now. It's like, no, you still have to truly make amends, I feel, you still have to apologize. You still have to admit to my responsibility and my accountability was wrong. We were a group. Before we brought Gene back in, we did this together. We was children. And I went off and became this big producer and became the lead singer of a group that I never intended me to be the lead singer. And it wasn't right. God was gonna bless all of us anyway. But I still haven't received an official apology. And yes, I've talked to them, you know, many times throughout the years, but there was never an official apology because when that train was running up, I didn't hear from them at all.
I begin to